The shortest track on the Highline Racing Tour is going to be the host for tonight's event. It is the Bolts Designs 150, and every driver bolting out of the track as qualifying has begun just about now. And it's going to be 5 minutes to decide the lineups for your heats in tonight's event. It's going to be multiple heat races, a last chance qualifier, and at the end of the day, a 150 lap main event in Pensacola. And the Florida-based track is ready to give some international excitement that we love to see. Tyler Rush right now, the top of the board, as every driver getting their fastest lap in. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast. I'm David Kreutz. I hope you do enjoy tonight's presentation as we are just getting things started. The 72 machine on your frame. One of the guys to keep a lookout for, DJ Stagner right now, does have provisional pole, but everything is, of course, getting warmed up, so nothing is given so far in this event. Scott Wheeler going to be able to make it, so 97 machine goes second on the board, and as it stands, your current points leader, Adam Bozzi, 6 points up on James McKee, is in position number 5. As Stagner still top man, as it looks like Roberto Ramirez takes it up into 4th as your race sponsor. He's having a great run so far in qualifying, just outside of the podium. Then it's going to be Terry Brooks going to be in the 7th spot. Chad Winstead is in 8th, and Corey Blevins rounds at the top 10. A series of strong runs for the man of the number 13 machine, as tonight only 20 drivers advance to your main event, so keep an eye out for that. Lower car counts overall per event, but at the end of the day, the same strong field. Just spread out just a bit more tonight, as Jacob Halm right now is on for his first lap in the day, quill number 76. Alan coming on his way. He's had 4 laps, none of which have been timed, so that looks to be it for him, as Jeff Morris is down to 13th. James McKee is in 14th. A lot to be desired for him as Colton Gardner. It rounds out your top 15. At the moment, it's going to be 24 drivers in the session, so 4 will go home. Alan Kuhlman right now looks to be one of which in qualifying. Dylan Petit goes 21st on his flying lap. Not going to be good enough to start in the top 20, which will more likely be the top 10 in his heat. You want to start up in that top 5, the upper echelon of short track racing, where you want to be if you get mired in the back of the pack, where you're all but done for immediately, as 2 minutes remain, and Alan Kuhlman is right there on your screen. Now, as it stands, we've got a bit of a problem when it comes to how we're going to display your qualifying. iRacing does not, in fact, register the qualifying results as the heat results, so we'll try to walk it through manually to show you what's going on when it's going on, as Corey Blevins right now, the number 13, is one of the only other drivers still going. Kayla Morrissey, though, now looking to make a fresh new run. The number 6 Ford Mustang machine for Channel Lock looking to lock it down inside the top 20. As it stands, only one driver who's put a time lap and is outside said mark. That is Dylan Petit in the number 31. Kayla Morrissey warms it up once, goes for it twice, trying to get an optimal pit exit. Every bit of momentum will help you along the way, as this short track, a half-mile long in Pensacola, Florida, gives very little room to those who make a mistake. You want to be optimal all the way through. Mistakes, they aren't given in racing, but you want to minimize them on your way around this track, as Caleb Morrissey goes down to the inside line that time by. Looking good for him so far as he comes through the back on his first eating lap. The number 6 machine right there as he comes across the line, this time by. What's it going to be for Caleb Morrissey? A 16.965. That puts him up to 8. That's going to be firmly inside the top 20 in qualifying so far, and firmly inside the top 5 for his heat run. Great to see that for him, as Caleb Morrissey now getting right there with the best of them. Just a few thousandths off Tyler Rush, but his second lap not to be desired, as he goes all the way around to the front stretch. Still will be inside that top 10. Now, with a bit of time in between, these will be the fastest laps results. It's going to be the hot laps that we want to look out for in qualifying, but the heats will be shuffled up in a different order. So give us just a moment to show your hot lap results, as it's going to be just about every driver from every row gang split in 2. So first place going to be in the same heat as third place. Second going to be the same heat as 4th. It won't be one main event to get this one going. It will be multiple heats and a last chance qualifier. 30 laps the distance there. So here we are going to have a bit of time to take a look at your overall starting grid. If this were to be the main event, this is how it would go. Take a look at your qualifying results in the Bolts Designs 150. DJ Stagner, the top man on the board, with a 16.845, right alongside Scott Wheeler with a 16.860 on his end. It's going to be Matthew Rodriguez, position number 3, 16.908 on his, and it's going to be Kendall Kerr rounding at the top 4 in main qualifying with a 16.194. 5. As it stands, Stagner, Rodriguez, and James McKee are going to be in this first heat. McKee's going to be third in his first heat. So is Tyler Rush there. He's going to be fourth in his heat, as Corey Blevins right now fifth in heat number 1. It's going to be the same lineup on the outside line. Scott Wheeler gets his pole position for his heat. Then it's going to be Kendall Curran second. Following that, Roberto Ramirez in third for his. Caleb Morris is going to be fourth in his. And Adam Boswell fifth in heat number 2. Let's go on from there. It's going to be Brad Kress sixth in heat number 1. Chad Winstead going to be seventh in heat number 1. Jeff Morash will be eighth in heat number 1. Connor Holton going to be there in ninth, heat number 1. And then rounding out the top 10 for the first heat, Dalton Beer, who's going to be 19th overall in hot lap times. Then it's going to be Terry Brooks 6th in heat 2. Dylan Clark going to be 7th in heat 2. Colton Gardner going to be 8th in heat 2. Ryan Potter going to be right there. He's going to be 9th in P2. And it's going to be heat 2, where Andrew Baker is as well. That number 43 machine going to be in the top 10, but only just with a 17.236. The spread of lap times in this segment going to be about 0.3 of a second, as DJ Stagner is yet to get a move on his number 64 in frame at the moment. Keep an eye out for this, as heat number 1 is already getting gridded, and it's going to be the man in position number 11 for heat number 1, Jacob Hall, with a 17.243, as Dylan Petit is right there to his outside, and that Petit machine going to be 11th in heat number 2, as Alan Kuhlman going to be last in his heat. And it looks like Dylan Body going to be put into heat number 1, even though he's registered as 25th. Alan Kuhlman gets put to the back of the field for the latter heat, and since that's going to be it on the heat, it's only going to be about 12 drivers per heat. Not a lot to go after there, but those will be your starting grids for the heats in the Bolts Designs 150. A much different look at it than usual. So far though, DJ Stagner is your man out in front of the 12-car field that populates Five Flags Speedway at the moment. The race has not yet begun, but we are due to see a great show. 35 laps. That comes out to about 17.5 miles around this short track circuit, used in disciplines such as the ARCA Regional Series. We've seen them come here time and time again, and hopefully we'll see some more great action, as it's one of those local tracks you got to keep around with, of course, your own pocket. We love to see these short tracks thrive. Unfortunately, we've seen many fall to the wayside as of recent due to urban development, but this keeps racing in every area across the United States, and hopefully DJ Stagner looking to put on a good show worthy of keeping Pensacola a racing town. Let's race right into the start-finish line. Next lap by 35 laps to do in heat number 1, and the 64 machine looks to be the one to get it done for the Swamp Motorsports camp. And if you're enjoying the action already, thank you all for stopping by. We're getting it all kicked off here on FTN. The NASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series is going to be on as well, courtesy of the great guys at LSR TV, a simulcast with them for the remainder of the season. As it stands, Stagner right in front. If you do enjoy the action, 8 subscribers away from 900. We'd love to see you chatting it up with us. We love to hear what you have to say. And right now, for FTN, we're oh so close to the coveted 900 subscriber mark, as DJ Stagner oh so close to the start-finish line goes for it. Green flags out for the first heat here in Pensacola. And a great start here for Matthew Rodriguez. We're going to keep it brief when it comes to the brakes, the action. It's going to be non-stop, and Rodriguez takes a commanding start there. A very quick run to the front of the field. It's going to be DJ Stagner in second. Tyler Rush going to be rushing in third. He's going to try to out-pizza the number 9 machine, and he gets right to his outside and gets that spot. Rodriguez right now, the front man on the board. A great start for him of the Rodriguez camp. For CLR, the 51 is clearly there, as they're going to be side by side. Brad Kress is with Corey Blevins. That time by Blevins has the edge. He's trying to get into 5th here, and you want to be inside the top 10 in this heat right now. Jacob Hom, the only man out in the 76 machine. It's going to be Dalton Beer now inside the transfer spot, so keep an eye out for the battle for 10th. Only one driver goes home in this heat. Alan Kuhlman going to have to fight with one other driver for the next one. As it stands, 3 laps into the 35, and they're all barreling down to the inside line, but one gets it better, and the 64 DJ Stagner has the edge, and he's going to be able to run away right there. Nice and smooth move. Now Stagner, your race leader, as Matthew Rodriguez facing a bit of trouble already, and now the 51 machine falls to the wayside. He'll be in second at the moment as Stagner leads the field. And taking a look on board with the number 64 machine, DJ Stagner for Swamp Motorsports, looking to get himself out of the ditch. Not the best start of the season for him. Right now, Meyer back in the championship points. As it stands, as a matter of fact, he's 19th. He made up 5 points in the championship championship hunt last race, but tonight looking to make up that many more, as he looks to be one of the favorites already, a short track ace. We've seen him win on FDM before in the Integrity Ignite Series at Bristol, and right now a half-mile circuit, not much like Bristol besides the distance. He seems to be one of those guys commanding the field. Once again, take a look at that. DJ Stagner, the top man of the board. 6 laps make it 7 out of 35. Matthew Rodriguez going to be there in second, and Tyler Rush still going to be in third here, as right now things are getting a bit calmer besides the Corey Blevins and Chad Winstead fight. Now these drivers know as it stands, so long as they stay up in front of the Jacob Hall machine, they are good to go, and they will be clear to make it to the main event. They might not be racing too hard as a result. Kerry Quadge, thank you for stopping by. Great to see some support for the James McKee machine, and McKee right now is only 6 points off the championship lead overall. One hell of a talent. He's won twice this season already, looking to make it 3 tonight at a short track. He won at Daytona, then got it done in dominating fashion at Dover. Not able to get it done at Darlington because his teammate Incumbent had a great run, undefeatable that night. But right now the 9 machine looks to be on an even playing field with guys such as Tyler Rush and Matthew Rodriguez, looking to make it into the top 3. Oh, so close right now, but no cigar at the moment as DJ Stagner runs away once again, 10 laps into the 35. And you can see Chad Winstead right now in 7th, watching that battle between Brad Kress and Corey Blevins, not trying to interject himself into it because he knows he has an awful lot of time to make it happen on his end. He knows patience is key, persistence is as well, but aggression at this stage in the race would be detrimental. We've only got 6 minutes on the clock here in this heat race event. That's just enough to get the 35 laps in, meaning that these times will be very marginal to get these miniature events in before the main event. So if you wreck, you're all but done for here. No fast repairs in this league if it turns out to be a bad wreck where you're all but destroyed for the night. That's going to take you out of contention and take you out big, as Stagner right now has no such worry. He leads the field by over a half a second. Matthew Rodriguez trying to chase him back. Nothing so far. 13 in out of 35. Connor Holden going to be in 8th right now. We haven't mentioned him all too much, but he is holding on to the back bumper of the Chad Winstead machine. It looks like Jeff Morash slipping further and further back to Dalton Beer and Jacob Hom, as these two are fighting as hard as they can. It's going to be Beer going just a bit up high that time by. It's going to be Jacob Hom going down low, trying to situate that number 76 Dayco machine right beside the 38. That is the goal. Does he have the Spirit? We'll find out, because the Spirit number 38 is right in front, trying to take it away time and time again. 15 laps into the 35. It's action-packed, non-stop short track racing so far. However, DJ Stagger looking to put the action to an end on his end. Let's take a lap on board the man in that number 64, figure out what he's doing. And 4th gear down to 7,000, more like 6,000 revs a minute. You can see him back it down, but no shifting through the gears for the man in that number 64. Backs it all the way down to 6, then goes from there. Lowest he gets is about 59.70 when it comes to the revs a minute. Gets it all the way up into 4th. Once again, let's take a look on board with the man in the last position at the moment, Jacob Hom. See how different he's doing it. Looks like Hom gets it down to 61. Gets a bit tight that time by, not enough to put the power down. However, the field, its lap times are only spread by 0.2 of a second, but it's going to be Jacob Hom goes way wide that time by. Not going to be good. Tries to diamond out the corner as it responds, but the car is not treating him all too well. He's going to be in more and more trouble as 18 laps in, he looks set to be the only driver who gets out of this event without a ride in the main feature. 150 laps the distance so far. These guys have been pushing to the limits to get there in the end of this. 19 laps in at 35, and Matthew Rodriguez holds on in 2nd. It looks like a big gap between the top 5 guys as James McKee trying to put one on Brad Kress, as Kress fades back further from 5th, maybe to 6th, as Corey Blevins can get right to him. Brad Kress looking oh so good right now. That number 29 machine, one of the guys to watch all season long. As it stands, though, only 16th in the championship standings, has a lot to gain, as he's got drivers such as Jason Harris is around in the points table that are not here tonight. So he could make some major gains in the title hunt, perhaps get himself in the top 15, even the top dozen, and I'm certain that the man at number 13 would love to do just that. Brad Kress right now 5th on the board, not close to Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez ran way high that time by, and 21 in out of 35. The 51 keeps it oh so close to the 72, but right now Tyler Rush has nothing to do with his Chevy Camaro. And 22 laps in out of 35, it's all flown by just like that, and you can see the 72 trying a different line that time, and we'll get a bit of a close-up example. Here is our drone shot courtesy of the FTN camera crew. Rush got in the wall that time, so now he is going to be moved up just about a groove, and you can see the 9 of James McKee peeking into frame, trying to qualify himself inside the top 5 in the main event. He's getting closer, and he is getting closer indeed, as we'll take a look at the rear drone camera, and you can see the sun, it is shining, and right now the 9 machine, a shining example of why waiting till the end might be the way to go for aggression, as he gets it side by side with Tyler Rush that time through. Does he have an edge? It looks like he lunges it in just a bit of contact, but nothing too major as they come across the line this time by. It's going to be James McKee right there to the point. He's going to be in third at the moment. Brad Kress slowly but surely gaining in on his own right, and now 25 laps in, he might be able to stick his head into the equation. He's getting closer, maybe close enough to make it happen. Sideways, no, they're going to be sliding, however, and it's going to be Brad Kress making his way sideways into position number 4. Take a look at the back of the field right now. Jacob Halm in big trouble. Dalton Beer gaining on Jeff Morash. Does not look like he is, but Jacob Halm is about 2 seconds off of the next man in this event. So right now, if Dalton Beer just laid back and let it all come to him, he'd be in the main event regardless, and he's been in 10th all night long here, so not much to chase after besides a main event start. Might be able to use a race to attrition in his favor, and right now he's been able to race it nice and smooth. He is in 10th by a wide margin here, and Jacob Halm quite far back. You can see in the shady parts of the circuit while the sun is beaming on the front stretch, and DJ Stagner right now has nothing to worry about. It's going to be side by side though between Brad Kress and Tyler Rush. This could be a race ender if it turns out to be contact. However, right now they're all playing it nice and smooth. Patience is key, and the 72 machine get down to a better jump that time by off exit. Not going to be clear though. 29 laps in at 35. It'll be 30 next time by, and the race is oh so close to its conclusion, and they're sliding all over. The 72 is going to get a big bump from Brad Kress, and Kress dives in. And no tires to worry about in these heats. It's going to be all green flag, no cautions for any driver, it appears, as this one's been able to go smooth sailing without much hesitation. 30 laps in out of 35, not much to say so far for most of these drivers. However, the battle is brewing between these guys, and it is brewing big as they come across the stripe this time by Stagner. Going to be able to make it 5 laps to go as they come across. Now Brad Kress right there. He sees Chad Winstead try to eke into the equation, and now it's going to be a switchback as Tyler Rush goes down to the inside line on Brad, trying to give him a taste of his own medicine. Does not work, and Kress able to cross him over effectively indeed. Tyler Rush going to be in 5th right now. Chad Winstead there in 6th. As Corey Blevins holds on in 7th, and it's going to be Connor Holden holding on indeed in 8th. Dalton Beer going to be in 11th right now, far and away. He's about 3 seconds off of Dalton Beer, who's about a second and a half off of Morash. The battles go from there. 3 laps to go for DJ Stagner in a dominating display. 35 laps out of course, 150 in the main event's comparison size. But this has been a drive of a lifetime to get into the pole position in the event overall. Matthew Rodriguez holds on in 2nd. James McKee still is there in 3rd, but not much more else to say as these drivers holding until the checkered flag falls. Make it 2 laps to go this time by, as they're going to be able to come across the stripe and go down to the white flag lap. The 64 goes and dives it in once again, friends, for Swamp Motorsports. This man has been on a tear. White flags out for a short track ace and DJ Stagner. Nothing to worry about. It's been the name of the game. It's going to be James McKee trying to get right up to Matthew Rodriguez this time by. Let's see what he can do. 9 Machine thinks about it, and it looks like he's going to go right to the inside. Nothing he can do that time by, and it looks like Stagner able to get it done here in heat number 1. Gets pole position as Rodriguez holds on for 2nd, and coming off of turn number 4, Dalton Beer, the last man to get into the main event, and it's going to be Jacob Halm who goes home in the 76. Checkered flag, it's out for heat 1. Now let's get on heat number 2 and see who is in store for a great show in Pensacola, Florida. It's been a great run. Of course, a very well-known event that's held here, the Snowball Derby. Quite ironic, given Florida does not often get any of that snow that it's often mentioned in the name of that race. But here, no late models. These are the Cup Series machines, which are looking to get onto a short course Tour in the summer. North Wilkesboro going to be hosting the All-Star Race in the Cup Series as well as the Craftsman Truck Series race. Look out for that. Of course, Bristol, Richmond, Martinsville all on the schedule as the 97 goes off on schedule to get the pacing laps in procedure. The Scott Wheeler on the inside of row number 1 for heat number 1. Kendall Kerr in second with Roberto Ramirez there in third. Then it's going to be Kayla Morrissey in fourth, Adam Bozzi in fifth, and Terry Brooks is going to be in position number 6 as Dylan Clark is there in 7th. It's going to be Colton Gardner 8th, Ryan Potter in 9th, and the last man in the transfer zone right now is the Kodiak number 43 of Andrew Baker on the high side. He'll have to contend with Dylan Petit and Alan Kuhlman to get it done here in Florida to make it into the 150 lap main event. And it looks like right now, as a matter of fact, the first transfer was for the 8th spot by default. So we'll have to check back on our notes to see who made it in immediately off race 1. However, right now it's going to be Scott Wheeler looking to make it to race number 2, looking to get outside pole position. He hasn't so far off of hot lap qualifying, but now he'll have to put together 35 hot laps once again to perhaps even the score and make himself known for the main. It's going to be Kendall Kerr up high, then Scott Wheeler down low. Let's get right into it once again. Green flag's going to be out for heat number 2 here in the Bolts Designs 150. A great jump for their leader once again, and that might be decisive for now. That it is indeed. Caleb Morrissey gives a big shunt, and there's going to be cars spinning already. Alan Kuhlman goes down and around. Dylan Petit going to be very far off the pack, so is Andrew Baker, and now no yellow. Kuhlman's night might be over just like that. We'll take a look at it immediately as the instant replay on the matter will show you. Kuhlman got it a bit hot off the start. Maybe just loses the brakes. No, he gets him. Andrew Baker there taps him. Baker goes high, and it's going to be Alan Kuhlman to go spinning, and he is not going to be winning with that run in mind. Now, no yellows. He'll have to put something superhuman in as Ryan Potter is currently in the transfer spot in 8th. Looking back on our notes, that's indeed where you want to be. So far, it looks like he's got it right there with Dylan Clark. He has to fend off Petit, Gardner, Baker, and Alan Kuhlman, who's almost a lap down as is. But that being said, the battle up front is getting a bit more enticing to take a look at. Look on the high side. Kendall Kerr going to be able to make it so. Getting a diamond arc in the corner. Nice and smooth. Gets the nice exit he wants as well. And with 32 laps to go on this board. So far, heat number 2, closer to the number 1. Caleb Morrissey gets a bit of a jump in his own right. And as they come down the back once again, now Kendall Kerr jumps out of the high side like a cat ready to pounce, and it looks like he's got 9 laps to go with it as well. No fast repairs here. He wants to keep the car in one piece. He wants to avoid going to last chance qualifier, which is 30 laps in length, as they come around the line once again. The 21 machine tries to make it happen. Nothing so far. Now Caleb Morrissey gaining more and more time as Ryan Potter in big trouble. He's going to back it up on the front stretch. We'll take a look at just what happened. And for the man in that qualifying transfer spot, this is bad news for Ryan Potter. We'll find out what happened. It looks like a self spin on that one, and he's going to go all the way around. Now it's going to be Dylan Petit in the 8th spot. Alan Kuhlman gets by him in 11th now, and that's going to be big for Kuhlman. Any spot is major. Andrew Baker falling back on time. Colton Gardner still chasing down Petit, as it's going to be side-by-side battling for the lead here. 97 and 21 still going at it, and these two battled for a title last season. A mini battle in its own right now between the two greats of the Highline Racing League. Last season's champion, the best man suited for these next gens, it appears to be Scott Wheeler, and he is always up there with the best of them, and tonight is indeed no different. That time by loses a bit more time as the sun is indeed setting here in Florida. As you can see, the orange hue beginning to remove itself from these drivers and their cars. It is now quite shady in Pensacola, and it's going to be Five Flags feeling the effects as Terry Brooks goes down to the inside line. Where did he come from? I'm not sure, but he's now there to battle on, and the 23 makes it so. Now he's going to be in the mix with Caleb Morrissey that time by. They go side by side. No major issue, though, as they come around the back once again. Now, the number 23 machine looking to contend with the number 6. Side by side, nothing to slide through. It's going to be Caleb Morrissey looking on at the Scott Wheeler and Kendall Kerr battle right now. Kerr has that edge, not by all too much. Take a look on board with the man in that number 21. And down to the inside line once again, Scott Wheeler does indeed go. Not major movement so far up in front. The top two guys have swapped spots, but Scott Wheeler keeping him honest so far. so not much to be concerned about for his chances in the main event. Still seems to be locked in, all but locked in if he just makes it the checkered flag with 23 laps remaining. It's going to be Dalen Clark losing some time. The Clark machine is in 7th. Dylan Petit is still in 8th, but Colton Gardner trying to chase down Petit has not been able to make it, so he currently stands in position number 9 with Kendall Kerr still the top man. 22 laps to go. Let's take a lap on board uninterrupted with a man leading this event. As you can see, holding on to that high line defense is major for Kendall Kerr. We took that lap on board uninterrupted. It's going to be Terry Brooks in a bit of trouble that time by. He comes right up the track. Gets Roberto Ramirez involved as well. 2 cars, no cautions. Bad news that Roberto Ramirez going to spin right back out of the track. Multiple drivers go right by him, and we'll take an instant replay. Big time kerfuffle that time through. It looks like Terry Brooks got caught up right in it, and we'll find out why. It looks like a self-spin there just got a bit loose, comes up to the 42, and now Alan Kuhlman unbelievably is in the transfer spot. The race of attrition, it is here, and it is now in this heat. Brooks going to call it quits in the heat tonight. Roberto Ramirez is still going in 10th right now. He knows anything can happen. Ryan Potter there in 11th, looking to make himself a beneficiary of a few more wrecks. 17 laps in, 19 laps to go. Time is running out for every driver here as Kendall Kerr still holds on with the Caleb Morrissey machine now in 3rd by a wide margin. And it seems like that wreck might have set the tone just a bit. Some guys are dialing it back a bit more, and now it's going to be more about some refined racing as Caleb Morrissey there in 3rd, 17 laps remaining. Now is Adam Bozzi right on his tail as a few drivers already looking to be in a bad standing to make it in the main event off the heat. And the last chance qualifiers, 30 laps into length, will be their only chance to make it through. Andrew Baker there in 9th. Roberto Ramirez is in 10th right now. And Baker is about 1 second off of Alan Kuhlman. And Kuhlman seems to be the luckiest man on this track. The number 8 machine is currently going with the flow for the flow racing operation. And he is now inside with 16 laps to go. The transfer spot, the oh so desirable transfer spot, as the 9th position is held by Andrew Baker. And currently that Kodiak number 43, not close enough to make something happen. Every driver beginning to get a bit more spread out. Scott Wheeler still is on the tail of the Kendall Kerr machine. However, it has gotten to be a bit more of a gap since we last looked at it. They were just about side by side when Terry Brooks went around, but now they're separated by about 2 tenths or so. Caleb Morrissey still holds on, defending the remainder of the field. Bozzi there in 4th. Dylan Clark rounds out the top 5, and Dylan Petit's going to be there in 6th as Colton Gardner right in front of Alan Kuhlman. And as it stands, Alan Kuhlman qualifies 16th for the main event here in Pensacola. Of course, he'd like to qualify a bit higher, but the opportunity that he has right now to make the main event on speed in this heat, it is more than enticing enough just to take it and not complain at all, as Kendall Kerr still leads him this time by. And 12 laps to do it for the man in the number 21. Wheeler still battling right there with him, getting right up there, trying to put a nose into it. And we'll take a look on board with him. Indeed, Scott Wheeler right there. The gold reflecting from the sunset and his paint scheme alike. And it looks like the 3-sheet number 21 with a darker shade of gold, trying to prove and get that gold position, the top spot in this heat. Looking for outside pole. Scott Wheeler going to be putting a bumper to him that time by. Not close enough to make contact. Kerr almost gets on the wall that time though, and now uses a bit of a higher groove to try to defend on the 97. Looks like things got a bit cooled down. They're warming back up again, so watch out, as now the 21 about a half groove higher there, using the seam to get a diamond run, and he does get a diamond run. 10 laps, he comes 9 laps remaining, and he gets the edge that time by. Scott Wheeler's still going to be there in 2nd. It's going to be Adam Bozzi in 3rd as Dylan Clark sees that Caleb Morrissey goes high, loses not 1 but 2 spots on that note, and has to recover immediately, effectively, but he's got some right side damage, not good at all, as it looks like Colton Gardner and Alan Kuhlman are still chasing one another, trying to get up to the remainder of the field. Not possible just yet, of course, no cautions. They need a wreck to make it in any higher position, but right now it's going to be Wheeler goes way up high there, almost locks it up as a matter of fact, and 8 laps to go. The number 21 machine still holds on at the stripe. He gets it once again. Scott Wheeler there in 2nd. He's Adam Bozzi in 3rd. Dylan Clark is in 4th. And Dylan Petit is there in the top 5. Looks like these guys starting to put their rounds in, pacing around the circuit. Last time by, Kendall Kerr ran a 17.683 compared to his best lap, a 16.963. So tire wear is major and only a 30-lap run. 6 laps to go as it stands to come down to that lap 35 checkered flag. And now it looks like Kendall Kerr gaining more and more time once again on the gap that he wants. And Scott Wheeler gets almost up to the wall that time through. Not enough for him so far as the number 97 machine still chases down Kendall Kerr through and through. And Dylan Batiste side by side with no one at the moment. The closest battle is between Alan Kuhlman and Colton Garner. That would be for 7th. Both drivers are in by inexplicable circumstances. Wrecks in front of them happen to benefit drivers involved with wrecks before the incidents that they were able to benefit from occurred. And their early incidents now have them up in 7th and 8th respectively. That is good to make it a main event on pace. That is what you want to see at a great driver such as Kuhlman and Gardner. Now, recovery is all in their favors. They come across the line this time by Kendall Kerr. Makes it about 2 laps to go when he goes down the front. They're still on the back as Scott Wheeler now about half a second off. Alan Kuhlman gaining more and more time though, and Colton Garner now they're within 4/10 of a second here, and Alan is charging hard as the 40 machine might have lost a bit of pace in this final segment. Take a look at how extreme Alan Kuhlman uses that wall. He gets right up to the edge of it, and it looks like nothing fearing him right now as he looks to be a dart without feathers. No, he's going to get in the wall, and that's exactly what we would have seen. With a lot of aggression comes a lot of uncontrollable action, and right now Kendall Kerr still out in front, rounding the back for the final lap, and it's going to be the 21 machine watching Wheeler lunge. Nothing to do. He'll win stage number 2 and get into that outside pole position. It's going to be Kerr, then Wheeler, and the final man to make it in will be Alan Kuhlman right behind Colton Garner at the end. Ramirez goes home for now, and it's going to be Andrew Baker there, Ryan Potter, and Terry Brooks. They'll have to go to the last chance qualifier if they want any chance to make it into the big show, the 150 lap main event. And for Ramirez, a heartbreaker, 1 spot off, automatically advancing as the sponsor of this race. He's sure to want some more at the tail end of this showdown. Morash going to be the top man on the board. He'll have pole position for this event. And now it's going to be Dalton Beer on your screen. Ramirez outside pole. Then it's going to be Dalton Beer indeed 3rd. Then Andrew Baker 4th. Jacob Hahn 5th. Ryan Potter going to be in 6th. And Terry Brooks is 8th, as Dylan Lombardi has yet to show up into the session as a driver. We'll see whether or not he shows up for the last chance qualifier. As it stands, though, it does not appear he will. And a great run so far for the 24 machine. Well, it could be. He could qualify from pole position in this showcase. It's going to be the 30-lap main event. For some, it's the final event, but it's going to be the main event to see who gets in from qualifying through the heats. And now your last chance qualifier is the Bolt Designs 150. Now has 1 more set of pace laps before we get to the main event. 30 laps, 15 miles to decide who makes it in to the 150 lap showdown. The ticker is actually a bit messed up right now because we don't have enough drivers to fill the minimum of course, 5. Right now, it's going to show you a bit better of a view. It should be actually looking for less than 10, and that's the reason you see a bit of a blank spot there, and we have a bit of pacing time, so we'll be able to fix that just right. Now, iRacing a bit more complicated, the way they interpret heats. They're different races, of course, but they're all meant to be in qualifying, so it usually scans once for drivers and then goes from there. We only have a total of 9 drivers registered for this heat, and it only comes out to about 8 who are going at it right now. As the iRacing official pace car rounds the back this time by, you can see the 24 and the 42 alternating numbers in that double-digit soup are looking to get it done, as it only appears that 4 drivers will make it in. Andrew Baker, as it stands, the man on top of the final transfer spot. And as we get into it this time, Jeff Morash will lead them through, and he's going to be right there in front of Ramirez Beer, and Baker. You're going to have to stay in your seats for this one. Get buckled up. Let's go for it once again. The last chance qualifier underway. And Ramirez gets a monster start. Well, look at him go. That 42 machine right now on the move. It's going to be Dalton Beer right there. He's going to get to the inside line. Now it's going to be a fierce battle inside the transfer zone. As now it seems Ramirez able to run away immediately thereafter. Andrew Baker right now in third. Watch the battle for fourth right on his on board. You can see they're all sliding back and forth. The 38 machine able to get just a bit out in front. Ryan Potter up on the high side. The Swamp Motorsports machine right there with Dalton, and he has a bit of a surge on the outside line. Momentum, it is kicking in. Nice and smooth, nice and easy. It's going to be slow and steady that wins the race. No! Now Ryan Potter gets a bit too aggressive and he falls all the way to the back of the field. That could be his night just like that. The 99 in big trouble, and it looks like he blinks out for a moment. That was on his end, but it almost looked like a disconnection by force. Thankfully, it was not. Ramirez, the top man of the board. And Jeff Morash is there in second. Andrew Baker is going to be in third. And now these drivers getting a bit more settled in to the pace of play. A bit of an antsy lap, the antsiest we've seen all night long. And Dalton Beer, once again, sitting, treading water in that transfer spot. This is his for the taking. If he can just keep on rolling, Jacob Hall falls back to the back of the field once again. Ryan Potter has 2 spots to drill through if he wants to make it in with any shot of the main event. He had pace early, but it just was not meant to be to start. But it's all about where you finish. You're going to have to disregard everything that's happened before. Andrew Baker going to go right around that time by, and that's going to be major for the man who was inside the third position. Take a look at this. That is all but certainly Baker's night. I can't believe it. And it looks like he was there on his own. Gets down to the inside of the circuit. Nothing major just yet, but he slips out of it on the back, and that transition catches him for a wild ride. And now that makes it one less driver to contend with. It is now only 6 in legitimate contention. Andrew Baker could go through the Alan Kunman method and make it through with chaos on the mind. Jacob Hall going to be in 6th right now. He's going to be Ryan Potter in 5th as he sees Terry Brooks and Dalton Beer fighting oh so close. The number 38 machine now has some pressure, but Terry Brooks knows it's more about making it in to the final 4 than battling Dalton Beer for 3rd. He's going to stand behind for now, and 10 laps into the 30 it is going to be the next time around. And you can see 9 laps through, these guys are starting to pick up the pace against those like Hom and Potter. However, Ryan Potter still has damage in his number 99, and he still has a lot of ability, so he could be able to drive it through if he just gets it locked down and dialed in. It is a mental game in short tracks like no other location in racing. You gotta fight your own instincts time after time. Corrections galore. A lot of drivers with not a lot of room. If you can't think quick, you will be caught out and you will be seen by the wayside. Nothing more that you can do. When it all comes down to it, you have to be precise and you have to be picture perfect time after time, as now they're side by side for 3rd, and Brooks has the edge, and it looks like he'll bring Ryan Potter right there with him. The 38 hangs high. Does he have enough to hang on? It looks like he's almost going to be able to do it for now, as they go dead even for the final transfer spot. This will be the 20th and final position on the grid, and right now they're getting way too close for it. This time by, it looks like Ryan Potter has a bit of an edge on the inside line. No, Dalton Beer gets it that lap through. 13 laps into the 30, and this is getting intense indeed, as there's very little room between any drivers. Roberto Ramirez has cruised his way to a solid, indeed, 0.8 of a second lead over Jeff Morash. These two, no worry. The remainder of the field has to hurry, as Ryan Potter now in 4th. Dalton Beer falls back to 5th. And it seemed like it would be inevitable to see Ryan Potter battling for that transfer spot once again, but we did not expect it to be such an easy fight for him to get right in front of Dalton Beer. Seems like he's just got a lot of drive in right now as Jacob Hom comes up on Dalton Beer. Beer might be wearing out those tires just a bit too much, as we're going to see quite a few drivers go home in this heat. Dylan Body going to be one of which, of course, but right now the 38 machine going to try to hold on strong. It's going to be Dalton Beer, Jacob Hom, Andrew Baker. Right now, the guys who are not in this event, Ryan Potter, still right there, 16 into the 30. That's going to be 15 laps to go as it stands, halftime in this heat. And these guys are in the heat of the moment, racing to their heart's consent. Down the back once again, Roberto Ramirez has it all in control. He's been steady as ever, and Steady Eddie out in front with Jeff Morash there in 2nd. Terry Brooks is in 3rd. Then it goes on from here. Ryan Potter is in that final transfer spot, and Dalton Beer going to set it in just a bit. Tries everything he can, but nothing he can do. so far. Andrew Baker is still on the track, getting laps in. He's about 10 seconds off of the next man on the track, and 13 seconds off of your leader. Might be in jeopardy of being lapped here. As you can see, almost in the same camera shot, the 43 gets in the wall once again, and Ramirez right now gets right close to the edge, but not going to be enough for some contact. Very nice, very consistent, and he has everything dialed out quite well, the 42 machine does, and he should have pace good enough to get him into the main with a run like this. Jeff Morris does get a bit closer that time by, and he does get himself about a 1/10 of a second faster, so we could see a battle for the lead, but I'm almost certain it won't be all too intense just to keep these guys in the main show. They'll all be qualifying outside the top 15 regardless, so you just want to start by that point. And it's going to be, of course, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20, the final 4 men in the field, and right now the 99 is the last of which, with Brooks getting down to the inside line, trying to make a battle for second before a battle for first is made. And now he has it squeezed right there. Look at him go. Does he have it? That it looks like he does. He's got a case. And now they'll be double file. And without much more said and done, Brooks there in the runner-up spot. And a great move there for the man in the 23, Jeff Morris, right there in the 3rd spot. He's got Ryan Potter gaining more and more time, though, and this shouldn't mean all too much to get in the main event, but it could be a battle to keep an eye out for, as Dalton Beer right now has his sights near and dear on the 99, and if he sees these two have an incident, he'll have to go full send into it just to make up time. He's about 2 seconds off of the drivers in front of him at the moment. Andrew Baker's about 10 seconds off, so you know some drivers with a bit more adversity to face, some drivers have a bit more of an edge, but with 7 to do it, you'll have to take every chance you can get. The top 4 have been steady all night long. Beer and Hom have had a great race in their own right, but right now it doesn't mean all too much as down to the inside line. It's going to be a great move for Jacob Hom. He gets right by. No, he does not. They'll be side by side for now. Now, Hom gets it into 5th. He will be in the catbird seat for any incident in front. Ryan Potter looking to keep the incidents to a minimum. Chases down Morris. Terry Brooks is still chasing down Roberto Ramirez. A one-time winner this season. Ramirez able to turn around this season. He's had a bit more momentum since that victory, but right now it could be a short track drive that he'll have to put on for another. He's going to be starting way back in the field, 17th spot. If he even gets this position locked up at the checkered flag, it could be worse as Terry Brooks tries to send him down to 18th on the grid. That time by, no effort made to make a serious run. Contact has been escaped as they go side by side once again. You can see Brooks just gets closer and closer. Roberto, though, holds on, and 27 in. He still has that edge as they come around to the line. Once again, make it 3 laps to go. Top 2 guys separated by 0.2 of a second. 5th and 6th right there, as well as Ryan Potter up to the high side on Jeff Morris. Tries to get a run going, but nothing he can get going just yet. Andrew Baker now going to be in frame with the leaders this time by. You could see the 43 getting chased down by the 42. What's he going to do? Maybe get out of their way, maybe not. This is heat of the moment type stuff. It could be something a little different from usual, but I don't think he'll do all too much. Right now, Baker not on a pace to be caught by the leaders. As Brooks gets it closer and closer once again, make it so. 1 lap to go. 23 machine's gonna have to dive it deep if he wants anything out of it this time by. A bit of a wider entry for the 42. It looks like Brooks goes way up high that time by. Not enough to chase him down. If he gets a major lunge, it could be something, but it won't be enough. Roberto Ramirez wins the last chance qualifier, gets into 17th. Terry Brooks starts 18th. Jeff Morris starts 19th, and Ryan Potter starts in 20th and last. As Jacob Hom, Dalton Beer, and Andrew Baker go home in tonight's show. It's going to be the number 42, the last man in. There you have it. Your 20-car field is set here in Five Flags Speedway. It's going to be a 150-lap showdown as every driver gets it off of the circuit. It is going to be DJ Stagner, your leading man, with 150 laps remaining on the board. Give us just a moment once again to reset our timing and scoring to make sure that every driver is seen on the board. Right now, not a lot of drivers on. You can see Ramirez is there, Scott Wheeler is as well, and DJ Stagner due to be right there with them, as the starting grid that we have unfortunately would be inaccurate. It is going to be Matthew Rodriguez starting in 3rd. Let's go through the entirety of the field while we have the chance. The Bolts Designs 150 getting ready to start oh so soon. DJ Stagner not on your screen will be starting on pole position with Kendall Kern 2nd, Matthew Rodriguez in 3rd, then Scott Wheeler in 4th. And it's going to be James McKee, position number 5. Adam Bozzi, 6th. Brad Crescent, 7th. And Dylan Clark in 8th. It's going to be Tyler Rush in 9th. Dylan Petit is going to be in 10th. And Chad Winstead goes to position number 11 with a final man in the top dozen, Caleb Morrissey. Then it's going to be Corey Blevins, 13th. Colton Garner, 14th. Alan Gummin going to be in 16th as Connor Holton holds on for 15th. And then it's going to be Roberto Ramirez, Terry Brooks, Jeff Morash, and Ryan Potter, the final drivers on the grid as we get right into it. The 64 machine gets ready to get going, and that he does nice and easy. Let's get into it here from Five Flags as the stands are packed here in Pensacola, and the virtual stands there on iRacing, as well as the, of course, viewership we have on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed the action. We are just getting the main event started here in Five Flags, and we hope you do enjoy this show. If you do, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support greatly appreciated as we chase down a total of 900 subscribers, now up to 893. Now the race going to begin with the 64 in control. Make it one lap to go, this time by under pacing, and then we'll get racing. And we saw some clean racing, some more reckless racing later on in the heats. Heat number 1 was all clean, nothing to worry about for most drivers. But when it came to heat number 2 and the last chance qualifiers, things got a bit more antsy, and we could see more of that, or we could see more of the clean racing that we of course hope to see lap in, lap out. This could be attrition, it could be action. The choice is up to the drivers and up to DJ Stagger to get going here and now. Coming out of the inside line, the iRacing official pace car dives in and DJ Stagner gets rolling. Green flags out into the Bolts Designs 150. Let's go racing from Pensacola. And that time by the 64 machine able to lead them all. It's going to be Kendall Kerr there in second and Matthew Rodriguez in third. It's going to be Scott Wheeler right now fourth, but they're all staying double file. And right now getting a bit more situated. They're going to be 3 wide though. Adam Bonzi there with James McKee and Scott Wheeler, points championship contenders. And right now James McKee comes in 6 points back on Bonzi in this title hunt. So this is a major battle. 9 races into our 16 race schedule. You want to keep yourself on your toes right now if you're driving like the 27 machine. Aggression, you don't want to see too much of it, but you got to be calculated and you've got to be a bit more pushy than you like to be, especially with your title rival right there behind you. Let's go and get it once again. That is what we're doing. Let's get going indeed. And the first stage is going to be at lap number 40. Next one's going to be lap 75, but no cautions here in the Highline Racing League for stages. There won't be any stage breaks to speak of. As we can see now, Kendall Kerr down to the inside line on Stagner, and now DJ's going to be a bit of trouble holding on to the runner-up spot for now. That he does. Matthew Rodriguez is going to be in third, as right now the field tailing off quite well. Colton Garner going to be a bit off the pace, but Ryan Potter still holds on to position number 19, trying to get himself situated. It's going to be Roberto Ramirez gaining up to 14th, and he's the highest of those who came from the last chance qualifier at the moment, getting by Connor Holden. Terry Brooks looks to do the same in that same time frame, and Kayla Morrissey goes up high on Tyler Rush without much hesitation. Corey Blevins holds on to 13th right now. Chad Winstead there in 10th as they're all getting going. 7 laps in the night sky, it is showing as the track has gotten dimmed down. The artificial lighting is in place, and we will see a night sky race. The sun has indeed set, and 8 laps in, the number 21 has had them going all around the track trying to chase him, but nothing's come out of it so far. Take a look on board with the number 21 of DJ Stagner's rival in this race, Kendall Kerr. And you can see so far, side by side, Morrissey is in the back of the field. But when they go down with it, it looks like Stagner takes a sharper inside line, trying to get a better entry. But off that exit, it is always Kendall Kerr who gets it done. He consolidates his line or compromises it on entry to get a better run off exit. And that seems to work for him time after time. You got to find your groove and you got to stick to it as a driver here. And short tracks is tricky as Five Flags, and right now one driver sticking to it quite well is who else but the man in that number 21. You love to see it, and a great talent. Kendall Kerr is a major ambassador for this league as always. It's going to be Matthew Rodriguez there in third. Scott Wheeler is going to be in fourth as James McKee holds on in fifth, and it's going to be a bit of bumper car playing right there as Rodriguez gets sent up high just a bit. He does hold on though. Nice easy work, as now Scott Wheeler might have something to play with, although it looks like Rodriguez able to make a nice and smooth recovery and get himself back going. The Highline Racing League has expanded, and right now we do indeed have 2 series. Matthew Rodriguez, a highlight from last night's running, or rather, the last time we went racing in that series, on Tuesday night's running of the Highline Racing Texaco Truck Series League. It's going to be a great league to watch. The Highline Racing League partnering with Adam Bozzi, actually our current points leader, who runs the development series out of his own pocket. We love to see it broadcasted on FTN as well, and Rodriguez part of a very fiery finish at Phoenix, and it's been a great season to watch so far. 8 weeks of racing to sort of go along with and sort of complement the Premier Series. Right now, though, Adam Bozzi going to give a nice side eye to number 29 and get going on his own. He's right there for the taking, side by side. They drive through, and it looks like that 27 got it going. The Busch Light number 29 machine not going to take it lightly. He still hangs on. While he's hanging on, he does not have the spot. They come down the line once again. It's going to be Scott Wheeler who gets it real drifted out, and he saves it. What a save. Not going to be good for his running, but it is going to be good for this race overall. He gets it going once again, kicks it back into gear, and now Chad Winstead gets down to his inside. They make contact once again. Manufactured teammates. They are not teammates officially, but the Ford Horsemen have been known to run with the Fords as often as they can. And Chad Winstead running real close to one of the 4 Horsemen, and Wheeler that time by. However, no dice. And now the 34 trails off his back bumper and gets ready to go at it once again in due time. Caleb Morrissey goes down to the inside line his own right on Brad Crescent. Right now, Brad dropping as far as, of course, he doesn't want to, but as far as he can to keep himself safe. Nothing has gone wrong for the 6 machine so far. Driving up through the field and making more time as he can speak. It is the channel lock number 6, now trying to get into the single digits in the odds in this event, as the top 10 all single file side by side. Though it's going to be the drivers in the back for a moment as Tyler Rush gets by Terry Brooks. And vice versa now, as a matter of fact, Terry Brooks gets by. That's going to be for 13th. He does, in fact, get by Ramirez. So for the drivers who got through in the qualifying last chance qualifier, it's going to be the number 13 spot occupied by Terry Brooks. He is now going to be up there fighting with Dylan Clark in the 12th. Corey Blevins is there in the 11th. Is going to be now Brad Kress forcing Morrissey up high, and now it's going to be double file. The inside line has been dominant, and it has been preferred tonight, but that does not mean it's going to stay that way all night long. It could change, it could fluctuate, and right now, no fluctuation seen out of Caleb Morrissey as it gets right up to the Brad Kress's back bumper. A bit of a nudge, a bit of a shove. Nothing that gets him out of sorts, but it is something to keep an eye out for. 21 laps, and we are getting more and more racy as it goes on. And one optimal line has been developed, and we do expect pit stops here in Pensacola as the number 6 machine gets closer and closer to the Brad Kress machine. It could be soon, it could be late. We saw some degradation up to 1 second's worth in the heat races, 35 laps long, and right now Kendall Curry is the most recent lap, a 17.515. compared to his all-time best in this event, a 17.019. And that was, of course, at the start of this race. Right now, though, the track is dimming, so the tire degradation might get much less, as the heat will not be more abrasive to the tires. The 64 machine holds on in second, though, and Matthew Rodriguez makes himself known in third as the 51 machine, A4 Seal, makes himself clearly stated once again. James McKee has a championship rival in Adam Bozzi right there, though. They're only separated by 6 points coming into this event, and as it stands, only separated by 5 points in real time. A bit of a nudge, though, and Bozzi is not patient at all. He tries to get by his right. Well, not going to be much that time through. Yes, we Designs number 9 holds on just fine, and he'll have to wait another day. Adam Bozzi will if he wants any chance at that number 9. And the 51 of Matthew Rodriguez holds on there. He's going to be in third as it stands. The top 2 getting closer again. And Stagner, your post hitter, looking to get back up there. He has not stagnated all night long. He is back in the equation. Look at him go. Got the inside once again. He's there with Ken Kerr. And 26 laps in at a 150. He got close, not enough. And Matthew Rodriguez makes it so in that third position. Dylan Petit going to be in 6th at the moment. And how do we take a lap on board with the leader, Ken Kerr? And as you can see, still running that much higher line compared to Stagner on the entries and exits. And you can take a look at it on board. 4th gear gets it down to 6,000 revs a minute and gets powered back down once again. Reach and position number 1 is D1 holding on. DJ Stack in second. Matt Rodriguez is in third, and you can see that Ken has his teammate top racing champion right there inside. That's the number 9. She McGinn in Alan coming there in the front of just yet. Matter of fact, the 8 not on our top parts, short of the top 15. He is in 15 at women who got major is now having trouble getting himself adjusted to the line here in 5. He'll have to wait. It's 31 laps. He's looking for fun. He's looking to get stage under wrap. Less than 10. Go here in the front. And he's so close to oven for stage 1, 5 for stage 2, and from there, then as Matthew Rodriguez, let's add a spot. Now Rodriguez for him so far. Got Petit right there. It's going to be caution number 1. Oh, Kurtman's to go. Let's take an into a just have the number machine. The get it in there on Ramirez. And so far, he by Ramirez actually gets a real close back into the 8 sheet. And that is fellow of 9-0. So being a bit worse for him, that's the worst of it. And the brake machine gets back rolling. The rear, but the is all up, and a lot coming down the pit road as we wins, and he's the remainder of the field pit road, and this will be the first game of the night. This being said, Kendall Curl on out in, or he did with DJ Steiner. Ozzy still first. The match is who wins off pit road. Then again, DJ Steiner, then Jason. This now he'll be 7th road, and they will Caleb Morrissey. So how about this? The diamond back all the way, but Adam appears to be a bit more risky with it. At 5 in the 27 to stay, not much, and do more than wait for the guys behind them chase down for the win. Jack instead out with them, a bit of a gamble there, and it's 35 out of 100, and it seems like we're gonna to stage 1 now. Perhaps a lap 2 dash and get on stage 2. Now stage 1 does mean an awful lot. Championship hunt bonus working right now, going for quite a few. That might just be a game as it looks like our down the inside line at Chad Winston up high and using that shoes advantage at lap green right now. By side, the machine is with that 30, or you can see the difference is clear for some drivers to switch on 2 tires to switch on 2. And from there, we'll go on naturally. And it's going to be at Bozzy holding strong. Ozzy holds on for that lap. He's going to be able to lead it there. Now it's going to be Matthew Rodriguez and Chad Winstead first, second, and third. It's going to be the Ford machine now on the inside line. Chad Winstead on the high side, and the 34 tries to make it so. He gets up there on Rodriguez once again, and it's Kendall Kerr in that 5th spot, making it 3 wide, and they're getting real dicey here in Florida. It's going to be track racing to the extreme as one goes high, and that's going to be Chad Winstead, the big loser in this battle. 39 laps to in this one so far. Not 39 laps to go in the slightest, but it's going to be 1 lap to go this time by for the stage. Racing has gotten high in intensity, and Bozzy still leads him down, trying to get a stage win over the remainder of the field. Rodriguez, though, gets that edge off the exit, and that's what he wanted. Bozzy's there in second, but it will be no use, and Matthew Rodriguez is going to be able to win stage number 1 quite decisively there, as now they're all going to have to get settled down once Rodriguez wins the first. Now the stage number 2 going to begin with DJ Stagner spinning right in front of the field, and that's going to be your yellow as Brad Kretz going to be a bit dicey in his own right, and Stagner pushing a bit too far brings out your second. Yep, just after stage number 1 begins. Or rather, stage number 2 begins and stage number 1 concludes. Let's take an instant replay back and check out just what happened. And the 64 right there finished it second in the stage, driving as hard as he could. And he had that thing in motion. Bozzy gets right there to the Kendall Kerr, and he goes right around in front of the remainder of the field. Thankfully, nobody hits him. There we go. The 64 of Stagner. Now it's not going to be stagnation. He falls down the order. He's down to 19th as is. And that 64 now has a world of trouble ahead of him if he wants to make it back through, as Matthew Rodriguez wins stage number 1. And he will be set to get a pit stop. Maybe this time by, maybe not. He's holding on the old tire experiment. Adam Bozzy is. And it looks like right now Bozzy is off of the circuit as Rodriguez wins stage 1. Now it seems like some drivers on a bit of a different strategy. Bozzy comes out and he's 17th, Winstead going to be 18th, Alan Cummins is 19th, and Roberto Ramirez is now in 20th. So some drivers falling to the wayside, that caution not helping them at all. And the 51 of Rodriguez is there for the taking, 44 laps in out of 150. And Dylan Batiste going to be right there in second. Scott Wheeler is in third. Kendall Kerr holds on in fourth. And right now, as they get right back at it once again, that number 51 gets the stage win that shocks them all. Adam Bozzy tried to gamble for it, and he got the caution to get him back in sorts with the remainder of the field, but he was oh so close. No cigar, however, and the 51 who battled through the remainder of the field just to get back in the picture ends up winning that first stage, and now is back in a good spot. Perhaps to take it to stage number 2 and even the main event victory in its entirety. It could happen. It could play in his favor. It could not, though. It's all not clear yet for the clear number 51. DLR, it is up there for a reason. Dylan Batiste, Menard's machine, looking to save big money, get out of the remainder of the pack here. He's currently there in second. Wheeler going to be in third, and Kendall Kerr there in fourth. Let's get right back at it once again. Rodriguez going to be able to lead the way once again with Wheeler, and Dylan Batiste right there with him. And Brad Kress going to be in that fifth spot right now. It looks like he's going to be right with his teammate. The 29 and the 21 go right back through the back stretch in unison. However, the inside line for Brad Kress does prevail for now. It's going to be a temporary stop down for the 21. Of course, if he's able to recover it could be temporary, it could be permanent. Caleb Morrissey now in form to perhaps go into the top 5. He has that run on the number 21, and he could look to make it fun, make it a bit more dicey and spicy for these drivers as the intensity is picking up. The front stretch light seems to be the brightest on this track throughout the entirety of the circuit, and that might in fact affect the visibility of these drivers in their cockpits. Now, that's something we don't mention all too much, but iRacing is as real as it can get, and sometimes short tracks don't have as the best equipment when it comes to lighting, and right now that is showing here in Five Flags. 49 laps in out of 150. Some drivers having a bit of a struggle as the night goes on. The sun has set, the natural lighting is gone. It's all artificial right now, and right now the racing is far from artificial. These guys are oh so close to it. Take a look at the middle of the pack here. It's going to be two Swamp Motorsports machines with the 23 of Terry Brooks. The 64 goes up high. It's going to be the 99 who chooses to keep himself right there, and he's going to fly right by his teammate, it almost looks like, but no, he won't. Connor Holden right now in position number 11, holding the flag quite strong for the Swamp Motorsports operation. They're all in frame with one. Take a look at this. It is the Swamp in the middle of the pack, and it's going to be the 64, the 99, and the 81, all with one another in unison, and they're flying in and out of every driver in their sight. It's now going to be Jeff Morash fighting with Adam Bozzy. Bozzy lost a lot of track position on that gamble. Right now, it seems like it's coming back to bite him. No caution in sight right now. Maybe, maybe not. Of course, the stage break could get some more dicey racing, like what we saw before. Could see Stagner go around, and it looks like Connor Holden goes around us, and it looks like it's going to be yet another Swamp Motorsports machine in trouble. Caution is out as Chad Winstead there as well. And how about that? Just as we mentioned, Stagner going around his teammate in Connor Holden gets in some big trouble and loops it just as we mentioned, and you'll see the 81 machine right there with his teammates, and he's in the front of the Swamp Motorsports pack there, and he's got Stagner right behind him, and no contact. He just gets it all lost, and Chad Winstead right there actually gets caught up with Alan Kuhlman, and you can see they come off the back, not enough room, and Winstead drives it high. He thinks he's clear. He is not at all, and 54 laps in, multiple drivers go around at the same time, and the yellow flag is out as a result. And how about that beginning of course to lap number 55 here as Chad Winstead comes down pit road with Ramirez, and it looks like Connor Holden stays out. Not a lot of damage on his number 81 Chevy Camaro, but certainly looked to be in a bit of a precarious position there as his teammate has already gone around before him. And right now the only driver who's been all clear when it comes down to those in, of course, the Motorsports operation, it's the number 81 who spun. The 99 is not so far. He's currently in 12th behind his teammate in DJ Stagger, but certainly is one of those guys to keep an eye out for because he does have a clean Chevy Camaro. The 64 got a bit banged up right now, though. It seems like he's been able to recover quite nicely. The 64 in front of his teammate as Dylan Clark is the last man in the top 10. Tyler Rush is the 9th. Corey Blevins is in 8th. It's going to be Jason McKee 7th. Then Caleb Morrissey in 6th. Kendall Kerr there in 5th. Brad Kress 4th. And the podium goes as follows. Dylan Petit's going to be in 3rd. And Scott Wheeler's in 2nd. As Matthew Rodriguez, I'll tell you what, the gamble paid off for him to go through slice and dice on that stage of victory. He not only gets the stage win, but now has a chance at the stage 2 win. So things going oh so well for him. The man in that number 51 he's had a day go from good to great. Not often we say that. It seems like things are going his way. A nice swing and a nice change of pace for the Matthew Rodriguez machine. Looking to get win number 1 on the season. Dylan Petit in the same position, looking for that first win. Almost got it. Roberto Ramirez stretched out his strategy just a bit longer than him at Michigan. But tonight, Ramirez is not in sight. And it might just be Dylan Petit's time to shine. It remains to be seen indeed. Matthew Rodriguez is going to be able to lead him down once again. 57 is going to become 58 this time through. Rodriguez gets the run, and Dylan Petit goes right with him. Tyler Rush right there in the 8th spot as it stands. It's going to be double foul right behind him. It's going to be now the DJ Stagner machine taking up on Dylan Clark. They're oh so close. The 23 goes there with the 99. And now they are getting into a rhythm. Once again, great to see Dylan Clark right now. Back bumper of Corey Blevins. Take a look on board. This is the roll bar shot, and that number 5 is on a drive to survive. But this ain't Formula 1, and that number 5, a winner at Watkins Glen earlier this season, looking to get it done on another All-American circuit. One of the premier short track races in all of the sports scene is ran at this track. Of course, the Snowball Derby and the Snowflake 100, running about 50 miles longer, rather 50 laps longer, and that event tonight might be a bit shorter than some of the prestigious events of the real world's fit. But tonight, Dylan Clark looking to put his claim to fame out there and get right by Terry Brooks, as Terry Brooks can run for his money, and that run is big down the back. Now Matthew Rodriguez is in position number 1 with not much to say besides a decisive lead. Dylan Petit now has the back bumper of Scott Wheeler to worry about, and the front bumper is one to worry about as well. The Menards number 31 has saved its big money by avoiding the major wreck so far, but stage number 2 is coming up on every driver, and it could be creeping up a bit too quick as Wheeler looking to bring down the run of that number 31, and he's had that thing going quite well. Dylan Petit has, but it might just be enough for Wheeler to intervene and get that spot. Wheeler, your season 14 champion. This is season number 15. Looking to get his title defense on to a good start in the second half of the season. It could go his way tonight. He's had a great number 7 Ford Mustang, but Kendall Kerr takes it over the inside that time by, and Kendall Kerr says no, gives Dylan Petit a break. And right now, as it stands, Scott Wheeler is only 32 points off of your championship leader as we have a caution. 65 laps in. McKee, Gardner, and Brad Kress. Let's find out just what happened. And we'll see as the 29 machine in big trouble. Now it seems like he was there with his teammate and James McKee. It could have been teammate contact. However, it does not look to be likely. These guys were up there fighting in the front of the pack. Now, it looks like McKee just comes up, gets his teammate and Brad Kress, and they all go around. Caleb Morrissey gets in the wall as a result. Colton Gardner might have right into it, and no, he was just slow because he had to get really on the brakes to avoid it there. Thankfully, good majority of field is not affected, but bad news for some, not for others, such as Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez gets the high road and gets it going once again. That number 51 keeps it going, and first, T is still there in second as Scott Wheeler rounds out your top three, 67 in out of 150. Now we're getting closer and closer to that halfway mark, and when we get there, well, stage number 2 will conclude, and the third stage will be for the taking for every one of these drivers. A 97 there in third, Matthew Rodriguez. He's had this thing dialed in all night long, and he now has it out in front, and he's had it out there for about 20 odd laps. Bell, thank you for stopping by. Great to see you. And David Bell, great ambassador for Motorsports. Glad to have him here. I believe actually has connections to Christopher Bell of NASCAR fame. We're using Next Gen, same as Christopher Bell. But tonight, some faces in the Toyota Camrys that we don't see in the real world. Matthew Rodriguez able to avoid that wreck once again. And we'll check on those who were affected. Brad Kress now one lap down. The first driver to go one down, as Jeff Morash is now in 19th. It's going to be Roberto Ramirez there in 18th. And James McKee back on the running. And he's going to be in 17th with Caleb Morrissey there in position number 16. Able to recover just a bit on his end as he got way slowed down. Might have some right side damage. Let's check our close-up shot there. Not much to be seen on the front end, not crumpled up all too bad, but you might see a bit of a crease. That could be very little cosmetic damage, if any. So he'll be good to go. At 69 laps in, it's been a nice run for Matthew Rodriguez, who's had this thing on the move all night long. The 51 machine looking ready to do it once again as we get into it for lap number 70. It's going to be about a 6-lap dash for stage number 2. And the green flag going to be out once again. Look at him go. It's going to be Rodriguez out in first with the Dilla Petit machine down to the inside line. And it's going to be Wheeler able to slot in quite nicely. And now he's back on the tear once again. Scott Wheeler has been looking inside, outside for any opportunity. And right now he might just have one. He's going to have to dial in immediately. Tyler Rush there in fourth. Going to be Ken O'Kerr fighting in fifth. And the Corey Blevins machine there in position number 6. You can see right now that Terry Brooks has something going right for him as he's got down to the inside line of that number 64 machine. Stagner, he's now up there in that top 10 once again. Now he fell all the way back to about 18th. He's been able to claw through half the field so far. Maybe he's got another half to go through as that 51 comes down the back once again. 72 laps in at a 150, almost there to stage number 2. He's got to get around a few more times though if he wants to lock it all up. And right now he has a good shot at this one, going undefeated in the stages. You of course want to see that as a driver. Right now Dylan Petit does not want to see that 97 in his rear view mirror. Scott Wheeler has been all over him for the past 35 laps, and it's getting more and more intense as they go around further and further. Rodriguez is going to be way caught up that time by, and now Dylan Petit giving him no mercy as 74 laps in, a new leader coming to the stage. 1 lap to go point. It's 2 to go as is. Look at this. It's going to be a new race leader, Wheeler, right there in second. 1 lap to go in this stage, and it's going to be all about that number 97 making it happen here and now. Corey Blevins going to be in the mix at 6. Tyler Rush there in third, watching on board with Scott Wheeler. Will he be able to lunge it in this time by? He goes to the outside, tries to get a diamond arc, but it is no use, and Petit will win stage number 2. Dylan Petit gets it done, and he's going to be able to get it from Matthew Rodriguez, who's only 3 laps away from sweeping both stages. Now let's get on our way once again. No cautions in this league for stages. That is your second stage. Now we're on to our third, which will be the entirety of the remainder of the race. 75 laps to go becomes 74, and we are now past the halfway marker. And it's evident that Scott Wheeler wants this lead very, very badly. But Tyler Rush, one of those guys you got to keep an eye out for, had a great run at Watkins Glen. That was a highlight, battling with guys such as Brad Kress and Scott Zellner, tonight both of which are not in contention. But right now, that 72 machine is indeed, and he might be able to put together a run of the ages. It could be his best run all season long. He's inside the podium as is. He got 1 podium at Atlanta last season in a super speedway configuration, and he's got a super run going so far. As that's now going to be Corey Blevins looking to get right on to Ken O'Kerr. They make contact, a bit of brushing up, a bit of rubbing up, and now down the back, that number 21 has the edge as Corey Blevins there in fifth, keeps it going. It's going to be Terry Brooks right there with Alan Kuhlman, as Kuhlman, with all that damage, is still fighting. Take a look at that front end on a close-up shot. That thing looks like it's a modified or a late model with a crumpled up front end nature of it compared to the flat end of that number 23. It is much different aerodynamically, but he's still working that car quite well. And Flow Racing, a major ambassador in their own right for, of course, short track racing all throughout the nation. Most short tracks have a Flow Racing, of course, connection. The one that I'm near, of course, does have Riverhead Raceway, but now Flow Racing taking down a Pensacola once again as a 31 machine holds on strong with now 69 laps to go, and a nice overtake for Dylan Petit to get to the lead about 10 laps back, and now he just has to hold on to it for the victory. And Wheeler goes down to his inside line once again, and you can tell that Scott has absolutely no patience in it right now. He just wants to get down to the end of this race without very little concern. He's got something going for him right now. That number 97 machine does, but is it enough? That is the question, as time after time he gets to that front bumper of course, the 31 gets closer sideways. Perhaps he has been a bit, but he's got that thing really well set up. He has not lost control. Maybe getting a bit more antsy time after time, getting a bit more desperate, but there's no reason to panic so far for the top three guys, as they're now building a bigger gap as they're three wide. Kuhlman, Blevett, and Kerr. Kendall Kerr gonna see his teammate back out, gives him a bit more room, and one always has to give him in a situation like that, and the 8 machine does. A very mature move for the man at number 8. That's what you want to see out of any driver. And it looks like now the 13 and the 21 are still going good side by side. They're battling. The leaders are still not there yet. And now Allen has a big run of his own right down to the inside. Blevins has him, but the outside line prevails off the back once again. And now Dylan Clark looking to take it up there. He's going to be in 6th now. And it looks like it's a who's who of any driver in this league, as they're all shifting up, down, left, right. Matthew Rodriguez is falling down in the 10th, but he's getting closer and closer to this battle. And Adam Bozzi is now in 11th, gaining more and more in his own right. Now, one man who's off cycle on the strategy that has it going real good, it's the driver of that number 9 machine, James McGee. As it stands, is only on a 20-lap set, but he's got it in 7th spot right now. He's in front of Adam Bozzi, who is on an alternate strategy. He is now right behind the Alan Kuhlman machine, who is on an alternate strategy in his own right. But right now, it seems like the best strategy to go is McKee's newer tires. He's now getting closer and closer to his teammate, and it's going to be a teammate battle between Kuhlman and Kendall Kerr. The way it's going, it looks like that 8 machine has enough pace, and Alan Kuhlman known to pick up spots in the races. He got through as the final man to transfer in the heats, and now he's up there fighting for the 4th spot. And now it's going to be a 3-man battle for the Blacktop organization. Brad Crest 1 lap down as it stands, but the remaining 3 are going at it like it's the last lap. Great to see the content forces in this series. Of course, the teammates driving each other hard. Right now, Kuhlman falls back to James McKee, as now McKee tries to take it down on the inside on Kendall Kerr, and Kendall gonna have to take it up high just a bit. He holds on though, and now that number 8 machine has to wait just a bit, as the freight train does not take a stop here in Pensacola. He'll have to make one of his own if he wants any chance to get it done. And now Dylan Petit falls back down to the 4th. It looks like the operation for him has fallen back further and further. We'll take an instant replay on what just happened. As you can see, Petit has been gapped for quite a while now, and that number 31 machine got pushed back by the Scott Wheeler operation. And the 97 for the 4 Horsemen is now the first man on the board, and he just gets it down the back. An instant replay on what just happened. And Scott Wheeler, your new race leader, and an undeniable presence week after week. The 97 looking to get it done this season. It's been a bit different. Almost got it at Daytona, but he's been on a drought ever since, and now looking to put the back down for the 4 Horsemen and get it done in position number 1. 57 laps into it. Time is running out already, and right now every driver get it bit more dispersed than they'd like to be if they want to make a pass or two. James McKee back on the man who he fought for a win with at Daytona, and he is right there for the taking. Riding on board with that cockpit. Everything is blacked out. The night is on, and we're riding on board with James McKee. He goes down the inside line. They're side by side for the lead already, and now that 97 machine has the run, but it's not going to be enough. James McKee takes the lead immediately thereafter, and a new race leader. We've had 2 in 10 laps. These drivers are freight training one another to no end, and Dylan Petit now has the Alan Kuma machine down to the inside of him, and Kuma gets a bit of a run, a bit of a sharp run as a matter of fact, and he gets it going back again. Now, Dylan Clark there in the 6th spot. It's going to be that number 5 machine holding on with the 31. Now, Petit knows that number 31 Camry might be a bit more worn out than most of these drivers. He battled as hard as he could to get it done overall in the 2nd stage. But now those tires get a bit more worn. He's had 64 laps on him. He is just going to have to let the field go right by him time after time. It looks like drivers get closer and closer. Now, Kendall Kerr looks to have that door open. He's going to bring Adam Bozzi with him on that note. And now, with some of the oldest tires on this circuit, Dylan Petit is in trouble, and he's in major trouble as that 31. Now it's the 27 right beside him. And with Adam Bozzi and Bearcat Motorsports having a great run, it looks like they're, of course, championship rival is the leader, but trying to minimize any losses in the championship run. That's what Bozzi's doing. He's trying to get into the top 5. That would guarantee he's still the points leader after tonight, but won't guarantee all too much else. That number 9 machine has been on a roll, and tonight it looks to be all set up well, as Scott Wheeler, who had that lead for quite some time, now loses it, and he now has 1 second to claw back on that number 9 as the caution's out with 50 laps to do it. And it's Adam Bozzi falling back a big. Corey Blevins disconnects from the session immediately thereafter, but it's going to be the 27 involved in this wreck. Let's take a look at just what happened. And it looks like Bozzi comes back up the circuit. Not much that time through. Looks to be down the front this time by, as a matter of fact. And 102 laps in. Time is running out indeed. And Bozzi gets a bit of a nudge there from Mears. He was already out sideways, and he comes right back up the track once again. That was a brutal hit. It almost looks saved from the number 27 machine, but it all falls apart then and there, and your championship leader now loses big time, and it's going to be big position. He's going to have to keep going, however, if he wants any chance to stay in this championship hunt. The title battle, too important to disconnect right now. He'll have to come down pit road and think of something, and quick. Everyone down pit road as is. Scott Wheeler already going to be in there. Kendall Kerr comes in as well. Now it's going to be 4 tires and fuel to top off and get it going for the remainder of the night. 48 laps to get it done. No more stages. It's going to be James McKee on his way by a wide margin. And Alan Kuhlman comes up 3rd as Scott Wheeler is going to be there in 2nd. Then it'll be Tyler Rush, Dylan Clark, Kendall Kerr, Dylan Petit, Terry Brooks, Adam Bozzi, and DJ Stagner, who's going to be right there in 11th. And Adam Bozzi comes out in 10th. Now that is the stop that he needed. Looks like it's going to be a bit shorter than most drivers, but just enough to get back on the way. And now Bozzi looks to be here to stay despite that incident. He's back up in the top 10 and has a chance once again to make something happen for the number 27 operation. And despite the damage, we've seen some drivers run very well who have been impacted beforehand in incidents. Take, for instance, the man in that number 8 machine, Alan Kuhlman. What a night it has been for him. For the man to have gotten oh so wrecked early on in the heats, then get destroyed on the front end. In the main event, he is still there, and now he's running in 3rd. That Chevy Camaro does not know when to quit, and quite frankly, it's for the better of this race. You love to see drivers with the tenacity of Alan Kuhlman, and tonight he is showing why he's one of the best in this league, time in, time out. And he's taking no breaks, no timeouts at all. Tonight is going to be his, if of course he gets by the 9 and the 97, one of which is his teammate. It's going to be a hard-fought battle regardless, as it's going to be Ford, of course, in the middle of 2 Chevys out in front. 46 laps remain. Your highest position Toyota is still the number 31 of Dylan Petit, won stage number 2. Matthew Rodriguez, your stage 1 winner, falls back to 13th on the order so far. And time, it is flying here. 106 laps in already, and with 45 to do it, 1 lap to green this time through. It'll be James McKee with the 97 of Scott Wheeler. These drivers have been fighting wits end all night long, and with 45 to do it, time it is, of course, running out, and crunch time is on. The final pit stop end has been taken. This could be the restart of course, of every restart, and the culmination of every run, every lap so far. This could be a great flag to be out once again, and it looks like James McKee gets the jump he needs to get right in front. That is going to be a major wreck in the back of the pack. It's going to be multiple drivers involved. Kayla Morrissey there, drivers in the wall. Rush, Bozzy, Kunman, and we'll find out just what happened. A major wreck and the biggest so far with 44 laps to go. Let's find out what happened indeed. Alan Kunman there as he comes up to the inside line. He gets loose, then dives into Tyler Rush. And that will be all she wrote. Gets Morrissey, gets Bozzy, and that takes out some major contenders immediately thereafter. And they will be at least one lap down. Allen gets loose, and a lot of drivers get destroyed thereafter. Now more coming in this time by 43 laps to go here live on FTN. So we have just a bit of time. We will take it to a brief Fireball Talks nonstop. Give us just a moment to just that as we get things set up. We will be in a brief break. We will be back before the green flag is out. Once again, thank you all for watching so far. If you do enjoy, once again, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated as we are live in the Boats Designs 150. We will be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
And as we get right back into it, that was your Fireball Talks non-stop break for tonight's action. And we thank you all dearly for watching as we get right back into it once again. Wheeler's going to be on the way. 39 laps to go here in Pensacola. Green flag's out once again, and the fans are on their feet. And we hope you're getting excited as it's going to be a big battle between Dylan Petit and James McKee. It is getting close to crunch time's conclusion as now that number 31 keeps it going nice and steady. You can see Dylan Carter there in fourth as well. These drivers are flying by, and now they're all double file. The high groove has come into succession, and now the Highline Racing League using that high line to his advantage. And looks like James McKee has a bit of it going. Tyler Rush has disconnected. Alan Kuhlman now 7 laps down. That leaves about 18 drivers still in this circuit with 36 laps to go. Time is running out for some drivers. It's about heat race distance now, and you can see that number 97. It is a plain straight up gap. It's going to be a big wreck though. It looks like it's going to be avoided. It could have been major, and it looks like no caution is out. One driver rockets way up high, and that was Dylan Clark. That looked to be a major one. Thankfully, every driver avoided it, but the yellow flag comes out immediately thereafter. 35 laps to go. Let's find out just why. It seemed like the 5 machine got tapped by Stagger, then got shot right up to the high side of the circuit. Then Jeff Morash got involved in an incident with Chad Winstead. Now let's find out what happened. Winstead behind him, and Winstead comes in and dives right on Jeff Morash, and that's what brings out your yellow. That was calculated as a spin. That's going to bring yet another yellow. The final few laps of this race have come down to some very action-packed racing. 34 laps to go here in Pensacola, and time it has been running out slowly but surely, though. These drivers beginning to calculate their next move. Up in front, Scott Wheeler got the start of a lifetime. He'll need to get yet another of those if he wants any opportunity at the victory. James McKee was on a roll last green flag run. He got them by over a second last time by, and now this time could be the money restart. The money lap hasn't happened just yet. But with 33 laps to go, I'm almost certain it will be in this range. For the first 100 odd laps, you really want to make sure you just get to this point. The final few in this race are more important than running up front early, because if you run up front early and you get taken out later, what's it going to mean at the end of the day? Quite frankly, it won't mean all too much. Right now, it seems like that number 9 machine knows just that, and while he does have a bit of a cave-in on the inside of his number 9 machine Chevy SP Design's hood, it's not all too major, and it looks to be a bit more cosmetic than what we saw from Alan Kuhlman. As it stands, Kuhlman is 12 laps down, and he is facing the time. So is Dylan Clark. That front end got ripped off in a violent incident. Now, one thing you might have noticed, that might be the first time you've ever seen a front end rip off like that on iRacing. Well, the reason is, well, the driver of that number 5 machine experienced a wreck with, quite frankly, the new damage model. More realistic, more accurate, and it has more opportunity for some very extreme action-packed wrecks. These incidents are now going to get more violent on iRacing, trying to replicate the way it is in real life. Front ends can rip off, back bumpers can rip off as well. Right now, the 97 machine has avoided all that quite nicely. The front of the field has done that with very, very good accuracy, consistency, and efficiency. Very few drivers up in front still have much damage. Caleb Morrissey, running well all night long, now comes down. He's 1 lap down as is, and it looks like that could be the end to his winning chances. As he gets on his way, Wheeler goes down to the inside line, delegates himself right there. James McKee has to force himself up to the high side if he wants any chance to get around on this restart. Now, iRacing's restart zone, another new feature. It's automated, and it might cost these guys on the outside line. I'm not sure whether or not we're using it in this league tonight. It is a brand new thing, automated in some sessions, not seen in others. So keep an eye on it. If you see some guys fall to the back like rocks on that outside line, it could happen. I don't believe it will, though. And as the second and third stages are in their way, this is the third. Green flag's going to be out once again with 30 laps remaining. And another great start for Scott Wheeler that time by. That's what he needed. Dylan Petit going to be on the high side. No, he'll be on the low as James McKee keeps himself honest. He's on that high side, getting right by the 31. The inside line just about dead even from a row back to the high side. On that main row, Rodriguez is going to be in a big amount of trouble. He goes down to the inside line. Going to be a single car incident. Yellow flags out nonetheless. And you saw that on your screen, but not too well. We'll take a look back once again. And Rodriguez, your stage 1 winner, not winning all too much right now as he falls back further and further. Once more in a bit of trouble. And now that 51, able to save it from major damage, finds himself at the back of the field in 15th. So what a way to get it back in shape. It's going to be the 51, looking for just a bit more right now in that CLR machine. Not going to be clear of the wall. He taps it off just a bit. But now on his way, 124 laps in out of 150. Scott Wheeler looks to be getting more and more practice for perhaps the finale of this race, which would of course be that white flag and a checkered flag right after it. Looks to be good to go perhaps to get there at the end of the day in the first position. Now, one thing we haven't seen on the screen, we haven't talked about it, are the race information and its details. So let's get that right up on your screen right now. Of course, this is the Bolts Designs 150, a lot of action, and we have seen 2 stages finish so far. It's going to be on to our third, so take a look at the information on your end. Lap number 45, of course, stage 1. Lap 75, as a matter of fact, with stage 2, with lap 40 being the first stage. And of course, a day-to-night race here in Pensacola. The half-mile circuit sees 150 laps, 78 degrees, partly cloudy. It's going to be a north wind, 2 miles an hour's worth, and 55% relative humidity. So not a lot there. It's going to be very moderate, temperate climate here in Florida. But the biggest change has been that day-to-night shift. So to get that back off your screen and put the ticker back on, a lot of drivers have been suffering as the night has gone on. Indeed, the 97 right there in the front of the field, and the quick lane 97 machine has been quick through and through. You can see McKee's there in second, Petit is in third, Terry Brooks is in fourth, and Kendall Kerr is still there in fifth. So not much more to be said and done for some drivers more than others. Some guys done. It looks like right now only about 15 guys make it 16 on the lead lap as 24 laps remain. We'll go to our trackcams22.com caution very shortly. It appears like it's not going to be a caution. As a matter of fact, I crank it up, and it will be a caution at 22 to go. Now, Casey Esho says trouble is brewing here for the 42 and the 27. Let's keep an eye out on that. Well, we'll try to keep an eye out for that. Thank you, Casey, for giving us that information. Quite frankly, not aware. It seems like tempers might be flaring, and it might be all throughout the pack, up, down, throughout it all, the front and the back, all to be seen, as it looks like Ramirez is good, Adam Bozzi there as well. Could be some issues in the back of the field, as Scott Wheeler has not faced any. It's run up in front. Now, it appears it will be a 22 to go caution. As a matter of fact, the crank it up will start later, but since we have some time, we'll get to, of course, the camera designer for all our incredible on-board shots for tonight's event. TrackCams22.com. Track cams for performance, the best onboard shots in the entirety of iRacing. As you can see, the night sky represented well as the green flag did to be out there, and we will be on our way once again. 22 laps to go, and we'll crank it up with TrackCams22.com here and now. Let's get right into it uninterrupted on FTN. And with a total of 18 laps to go, time is running out, but two drivers running up in front. It's the 9 and the 97. Scott Wheeler looking for win number 1 on this season here in Pensacola. Looking to get it done in style. James McKee, though, not going to make it easy, as the 9 machine is right there, and he is trying to squeeze himself into the gap. He got close, but no cigar that time by, as that 9 is getting up high, and 16 laps to do it. That number 9 for James McKee has been a rocket ship, and last time he got out in front of Wheeler, he gapped him by over a second. The clean air was a major factor in his run through, and right now he's getting closer to getting that clean air once again. Look at him go down to the inside line. These both go this time, and right now a different line compared to Kendall Curry, battled with him the second heat for Scott Wheeler. He goes down to the inside line through and through, thick and thin. He does not change at all, and it's been a winning strategy for now, but it's going to be almost a turn. Is it going to be a save? It looks like it was, but it was a major bold move from Jason McKee, and now they go side by side down the back. It's going to be Wheeler closes them off once again. These guys are getting antsy, and right now the 97 still has it in his hand, but not by much. The rear view mirror, it is getting lit up right now by that number 9. The side-by-side action that we were hoping for is coming alive, and right now James McKee knows he is right there in the thick of it. James McKee sees a caution fly, and with 13 laps to go, we've got it paused once again. Kayla Morrissey looked to be involved with this one. So was Ryan Potter, and so was Brad Kress. Let's find out just what happened. As Kress pulls up to the camera there, you can see he got all sorts of out of shape. It looks like Ryan Potter wrecks it there, then gets into Brad Kress. Jeff Morash parts the seas, and then Kayla Morrissey gets caught up with another incident. It appears it might have actually been just in, of course, trying to avoid this wreck, and that it might have indeed been. He gets a bit more power down on it. Actually looks to be good to go, as a matter of fact. So the 6 machine just had damage to begin with, but what about that avoidance from Jeff Morash? Take a look on board with him and see what it was like. And no contact. That number 24 came out squeaky clean, and that could have been much worse, as the rear view mirrors where that wreck was for him. Morash, what a move there, and now he's going to be 9th as a result of that heads-up display of driving. You'd love to see that. Jeff Morash, a great move, and now he's on a 9th spot here in, of course, Pensacola, the Five Flags Speedway, and now we have 10 laps on the board. It could be closer to 5, as a matter of fact. We get down to our perhaps final restart. And everything right now, it is indeed speculative. Nothing is a certainty for some of these guys. It could be more and more action. It could be cautions till that tail end. Nothing is certain until the checkered flag falls. Tonight, right now, it seems like the checkered flag is in touching distance for one driver, and Scott Wheeler. James McKee not making it easy at all, though. He got close to some contact that could have spun the both of them. Thankfully, Wheeler were able to save it, and James McKee did, in fact, back off, so they were able to get it going nice and smooth, and they should be able to do so once again. The pace car's lights are off, and the iRacing official pace car, good to let them go this time by. They're all single file, and it could be a single file restart here. I don't see anyone going double file. The choose rule seems to be inactive. This will be our first single file restart, and perhaps our only. The 97 of Scott Wheeler holds on in the quick lane 97 machine. He wants to make this quick. Will he be able to do so? Let's find out. Green flags out once again. 9 laps to go from Scott Wheeler. And make it 8 immediately thereafter. Everyone starts on the high side, has to work their way down low. Double file going to be Adam Bozzi there with the DJ Stagner machine. And Kendall Kerr sees himself in. He's in 5th as it stands. Bozzi goes down to the inside line on Stagner. And that 64 fights to go on another day. Bozzi has damage, but he is still kicking. And that 27, who looked to be down and out from the count earlier on, is now returning to the battle. And he is oh so close to something once again. James McKee is a 10th on it right now. That 97 still is in first, though. And Dylan Petit fighting his own battle with Terry Brooks. He's a battle for the lead, becomes side by side. And it is getting close. Caution's out, 6 laps to go. It'll be an overtime finish. And TJ Stagner is involved in this one. Let's find out just what happened. Stagner involved, and Adam Bozzi was there too. So we'll take a quick look as Bozzi might have gotten to the back bumper there, and that he did. Gives him a touch or two and gets him right around. It looks like Stagner gets some front end damage. That might put an end to his winning chances. Then and there, 5 laps to go from Pensacola, and we are due for perhaps our one and only overtime attempt here in the Five Flags Speedway. That's going to extend this race to a bit further than 150. It could be 151, 152, if that is the way it's made out to be, as the 64 comes down pit road this time by. Caleb Morrissey does as well, and so does Roberto Ramirez, as the 97 is still your race leader. 4 laps to go here in Five Flags. And with all this being said, it could be the most intense run for Scott Wheeler's, of course, entire Highline Racing League career to get this one in victory lane. James McKee has kept him honest all night long as we look at the close-up drone shot here. Scott Wheeler pacing slowly, very minute hand movements. He is keeping all the focus on the driving in, of course, front of him and not in that rear view mirror. James McKee has been a thorn in his side, and he could be once again as they come to the line through and through. They've kept it good. 3 laps to go. James McKee is still there. It will be a 2-lap shootout, a natural green-white checker to finish this race off, and this is as exciting as it gets. And with that being said, Scott Wheeler holds on in first. James McKee there in second. This will be a 2-lap shootout. 1 mile to get it done here in Five Flags. Green flags out once again. It's going to be the top 2 drivers all over it, but Wheeler gets it done for the first start. James McKee going to be right there in that second spot. Take a look and go. And take a look at that down the back. Nothing so far. It's going to be James McKee going just a bit up high, trying to diamond arc the corner. Will he get a better exit? That he did. White flag to be out in Pensacola. He gets out of the inside line, gets a bit of a nudge there. Wheeler still holds on strong. The 97 has his competition. Take a look on board with him. Take a look at the rear view. That 97 machine has a all over. The 9 of James McKee goes to the inside line. He's got a big run, and he sends it through. Once again, heartbreak for Wheeler and victory for James McKee. And now, win number 3 on the season. And he gets it done on a track that's not named as a D, Daytona, Dover, and Five Flags to win the Boats Designs 150. And what a finish that was. You can see by this point he was already out in front. Get an instant replay on that one at half speed. James McKee is your race winner. Stick around for interviews and, of course, all post-race procedures. And he drove that thing down to the apron, and he had Scott Wheeler move out of line for that one quite nicely for the 9. But, of course, nothing that the 97 will be happy about at all. And James McKee gets it done from Pensacola. What a way to win it as we get your timing and scoring up for overall event. The 9 keeps it in line and gets the victory. Scott Wheeler will not be happy about that one. That is for certain. As your 20-car main event goes as follows. James McKee, the top man on the board, over Scott Wheeler by 0.3 of a second. Then Brad Kress is going to be in 10th, as Terry Brooks is third, 0.6 down. Then Dylan Petit, 0.6 down in his own right, finishes on a photo finish for 4th in that 4th spot. And Kendall Kerr going to be 5th on the night, qualifying in 2nd with Adam Bozzi right behind him there in 6th. That's going to be Connor Holden, who held on for 7th. Chad Winstead in 8th. Jeff Morash in 9th with Brad Kress, the final man, as aforementioned, on the top 10, 2 seconds down. As the remainder of the field has Matthew Rodriguez, your stage 1 winner, right there with him. DJ Stagner in 12th. Ryan Potter, his teammate, right there in the photo finish for 12th, as Colton Garner finishes 14th. Roberto Ramirez finishes at 15th. Then Caleb Morrissey comes home last man on that lead lap in 16th. And the retirees go as follows. Dylan Clark, 17th. Then Alan Kubin in 18th. Tyler Rush in 19th. And Corey Blevins in 20th. What a way to win it. And James McKee gets it done. And I'm not sure how Scott Wheeler is going to feel about that one. It wasn't a jump per se, but it certainly was a contentious move as the number 9 machine gets ready to burn it down live on FTN. And we'll take a look at that as we get your, of course, interviews situated. And James McKee going to get ready to get this one on, as the party will be on for the man who gets it done in the Bolts Designs 150. And a Bolt he was all night long. Whenever Wheeler had the defense going, he looked good. But it was great for, of course, the 9 machine whenever he got it in clean air. And the burnout might be over soon. However, he's celebrating this one hard. James McKee is. And he's going to be on his way very, very shortly as he comes down to the start-finish line. All 3 drivers from your podium getting ready for an interview. And we'll get them in here and now. Starting, of course, with your race winner of the 9 machine, James McKee, win number 3 on the season. And the short track racing comes to a head in a culmination of events. A 2-lap shootout. And you come home the winner.
I don't know how.
What about that race? Short runs at the tail end, some long runs early, and strategy was all over the place. So what was your key to success here in Pensacola?
I was really hoping that there wouldn't be any more cautions. That little 10 laps to go we had, like that was just enough time, and then people just kept wrecking. And Scott would get such good jumps on the restarts, and I'd always start from behind, and I would need like a lap or 2 to get back up to him and at least have something for him. And somehow that last restart was able to capitalize and get up to him real quick, and then you saw the ending.
And that we did. Well, how about that one? How aggressive were you going to take it there in that final few runs? Of course, we saw Scott Wheeler right there in the mix with you. Short run versus long run cars, and you got it wound up at the perfect time for your operation.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to race Scott clean. He and I have never really had any issues, and I didn't want to punt him, for a win. He and I usually have pretty good races together, and I wouldn't have felt right if I just gave him a punt to take the win. So luckily, I don't know if we tapped him or what, but I got on the apron. I thought I was going to spin out and take him out with me and screw everybody's race up, but somehow we were able to get down there. The apron of all things stuck for me. So, woo!
And the apron does stick for the man who now has 3 wins on the season. I believe he will be due to be the championship points leader after this event. And the next race we're going to be having, it's going to be a much bigger track. One of the biggest in NASCAR. It's Pocono. How do you feel going into that one?
Pocono is one of my favorites. It's like Indianapolis, and I'm from Indiana, so I like both those tracks and how they drive, but should be fun.
That's what we hope to see, some fun racing. The 9 machine getting it done once again, the winningest driver of this season, winning a third of all the races we've had thus far. 9 races in, the 9 comes out on top. Any final thoughts and anyone else you'd like to thank?
Just as usual, thank you for your broadcast. I love watching them, and want to thank my teammates. I screwed Brad earlier in the race when I got loose and spun out, and he got a lot of damage and wasn't able to come back from it. And I don't even know how I came back from it. So, but shout out to all of them. They're a great group of guys to race with.
And there we have it, winning once again. James McKee gets it done at a track that doesn't start with the letter D. Daytona, Dover, now Five Flags. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
There we have it. James McKee going to be on his way, the second man on the board. Scott Wither, oh so close all night long in the pace to get it done, but it seems like that final lap is where everything came to a head, as we've already mentioned on stream. Scott Wither, how do you feel after this one?
Not great, to be honest with you. Second sucks, so.
A close battle all the way between you and James McKee in the about final 50 laps there. So what sets you apart on that run? Because it seems like it was only you two even close to the victory.
I don't know. Jimmy just could drive it off the corner better. Ultimately, that's what it came down to. The single file restarts didn't help, but that's part of the rule book. There's not anything that can be said about it. But the doubles were definitely helping them, at least keep Jimmy at bay a little bit. So, I think he just ultimately ran the better line and got the win.
And it seems like the single file restart's playing a major factor. Now, another major factor in strategy, as always, although maybe not tonight, tires, that looks like a good majority of the field, was in sync with them. So how was it managing them, as tires did seem to degrade major here over the night?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. As long as you took care of them a little bit and really let the car roll, the car would drive off the corner well. But if you abuse them, you just plow into the wall. So, just a matter of, at that point, who can run the better line. And at the end of the day, that just wasn't us.
Well, how about that? Now, from a short track race with, of course, the short track action, we'll be going to Pocono Raceway up next. A much bigger track with, of course, some much faster speed. So how's it going to be taking on the Tricky Triangle next time we go at?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I haven't run that track in these cars, I don't think. Previously it hasn't been a bad track. I'm looking forward to the next couple of races. I think they'll fit my driving style, and hopefully I can, finish above the 9 eventually. But, just try to be fast and do what we can.
And there we have it, looking to do what he can. Scott Wheeler, oh so close yet again. Second night here in Five Flags. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank my teammates. Caleb was very supportive and helped me make the right calls all night. So couldn't be in this position without him. Scott, Austin, wish they were here tonight, but they've got some things going on, understandably. So I know they were watching from home, but Kendall and Toby putting on the league. It's difficult when you come to a track that these cars don't run at in real life. So I think Terry made a setup out of scratch, and it ended up working really well. That stuff's hard to do. I couldn't do it. And then you guys for broadcasting every week. It's always fun to watch it back, and we'll go to Pocono and see if maybe we can get a win.
And there we have it, looking at for a win once again. Scott Wheeler, second night here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
There we have it. Now, one driver had an awful quiet night. How about this? Now, Terry Brooks, if I'm not mistaken, one of the guys who came through on the last chance qualifying run, and you came home in third. How about this? As you were battling deep in the field early on, able to come home to the podium. How are you feeling after this one? A great drive up.
It was a great race. Really hate I goofed up in the heat race. I goofed up in qualifying to start with and hit the wall on my second lap and put me deep in the field. Then I messed up in the heat race, got loose and overcorrected. Unfortunately, I took the 42. I can't think Roberto with me. And then we both had to run the last chance race. First run was doing really good. I think we got up to 8th. And then I sped on pit road, had to go to the back again. I'm like, man, this is going to turn into a strategy race. So like the last pit stop, I just took 2 to try to gain some track position to get back up there. And then just got lucky with the lane choices. Was on the outside when I needed to be, inside on the restarts, and it worked out good. And it was a crazy finish. I really didn't think we'd make it across the line without just wadding the whole track up.
And it worked out quite well indeed. Well, how about that? A very silent race from our end, of course, but you were able to get there very close to the end. You think you had anything up there for the leaders up in front?
I think so. I mean, we had a really good car. We needed a longer run there at the end, and the repeated cautions just didn't let us kind of fall into what our groove was. But it's just the way the races play out sometimes, especially at the short tracks.
And that appears the way it went indeed. Now, from a short track to a long track, Pocono Raceway up next. Now, the tricky triangle always going to be a bit of a mystery for some of these guys. Now, how's it going to be for you going into Pennsylvania and Long Ponds Raceway?
I love Pocono. The only concern I got is every time we do a restart, getting through turn 1 and 2. If we make it through 1 and 2, man, it's a great race. But every time there's a caution, that's the question mark. 1 and 2 is a really tough corner. We'll just have to see how that plays out. I think last season or 2 seasons ago, the pole setter went in there, got loose on entry, wadded up in front of the whole field on the initial start. It's a really tough turn. So I hope everybody makes it through, and we put on a great show for everybody.
And that's, of course, what we hope to see as well. A tough turn for a tricky triangle, but tonight in Five Flags, Terry Brooks comes home in third. Any final thoughts on anyone else you'd like to thank?
Thank ASC again for sponsoring the league, sponsoring me. It's just really good to have them on board with us. Thank y'all for putting on the broadcast. Great show every week. Thank y'all for picking up the Tuesday night truck league with us as well. The Texacon series, it's been a lot of fun. Haven't had a lot of luck, but it's been fun. Thank everybody in this league for just all they do. We got a little short track race we do on Monday, then we do the trucks on Tuesday, on Thursday. Have a really, really good time. It's racing, as you can tell. You watch the broadcast, you see how good it is. And hopefully we just keep growing this league. Bring y'all along with us because we love having y'all broadcast.
And that's what we hope to see. Yet another great race with a steep competition. Terry Brooks gets it done. Final driver on the podium here in Five Flags in the Boats Designs 150. Thank you for your time.
You have a good evening.
And there we have it. Brooks going to be on his way. And those are your drivers on the podium. And James McKean, you can see it again on your screen, making that move for victory in slow motion. Got it done here in the Boats Designs 150. Next time we will be live is going to be Saturday with a Stock Car Racing League Redline Truck Series, and we hope to see you all there. A great show tonight, and we hope to have every driver, of course, coming back on Thursday for Pocono, the Highline Racing League, ASC Services and Supply Premier Series. I've been David Kreutz. Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, and we will see you whenever we're live once again on FTN. Thank you all for watching. We hope you have a great night. Of course, thank you for spending your time here on the Fireball Talks NASCAR YouTube channel.